So last video I shot, a comment was, Kevin, you need to get past those kind of beginner drills and beginner stuff to get me more towards those advanced drills and advanced strategies. Well, really, I think that could be a really dangerous mindset, to think that advanced drills are going to make you an advanced player.
Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. No, Will Robinson.
If you think advanced drills are going to make you better, I hate to break your heart, but it's not. It's not the drills that are going to make you advance, and I want to show you exactly what I'm talking about. First, we're going to watch a match between two really top-level juniors. I don't know specifically who they are, but I know the tournament. And the tournament's an international tournament. Basically, it takes the best juniors from all the countries and they come and play this tournament. And I would be willing to bet that these two kids, whoever they are, can probably beat 90% of everybody else who's probably 5-0 or below. And it's not because they have some advanced level strategies that they're going to use. But before we get into that, I want to thank a couple people for providing these videos, because we wouldn't be able to do this without them. First of all, La Petite Tasse, Bryan and Dominic Team for letting us use some of these videos, because we just couldn't do this without it. So let's get started. I want you to watch this point, and I want you to think about this. What advanced level strategies or tactics do you see them using? More than likely, you're going to see some very fundamental basic things done really well. So as they start the point here, let's look at this and see what's going on. Start off with just getting a basic serve in. We're going cross court 1, cross court 2, cross court 3, cross court 4, cross court 5, cross court 6, cross court 7, up, cross court 8. Cross court 9, cross court 10, inside out, sorry. Cross court to the open court, and then we got an error. Now if you're looking at this and you don't have the right lens to look through this, you go, well, maybe they're not really that good, or this isn't a good example, Kevin. But if you really look closer, and especially if you're on the court with them, the level of proficiency they have for hitting those cross courts are very, very high. And I think a lot of players think that somehow these drills, advanced level drills, are going to make me a better proficient player. And that's not exactly true. Now, the way I look at it is, would you want to be or have a high level of proficiency on some very basic fundamental things? Or would you want to have a very low level of proficiency but be doing advanced level drills? And I think a lot of players are going to the second one, where they think the advanced level drills is going to increase their proficiency. Now, the key about advanced level drills or trying to become an advanced level player, it's not so much about getting away from the beginner stuff that a lot of people are saying, oh, this is beginner stuff, or this thing is so easy. I mean, beginners. Funny enough, when you look at the pros, they have all those beginner stuff, those fundamentals, I would like to say as a better word, those fundamentals inside their game. And what they've done is train those fundamentals to operate at a very high advanced level. Now, let's talk more about how do you get that to happen, because that's what you're here for. You want to become better. So number one is you have to change this mindset away from like this beginner or fundamental, like, oh, I got that down, it's no big deal. You have to make sure you really have it down. So I'm going to use this example of hitting cross courts, and then I'm going to stack more and more difficulty to this to show you how a simple drill can be used to make you an advanced level player. So if we're just hitting cross courts, everybody hits the standard cross courts, and they're like, oh, this is an easy drill, I hit cross courts. But really, if you pay attention to how you're hitting cross courts, more than likely, a couple things are happening. You're missing the ball. It might be a little in the doubles alley, a little long, you keep going, no big deal. You don't have a sense of accountability. That's the very first thing. If you want to be an advanced level player, you have to start incorporating into your practices, regardless of what type of drill it is. Simple hitting cross court with accountability, like we're seeing with these two juniors, will really take your game to another level. Now, if you really want to think about, okay, how can I get even better? This isn't more advanced enough, Kevin. You got to give me the really juicy advanced drills where coaches are feeding me random crazy balls. If we go to this drill, you're going to watch this coach feed a bunch of balls, but if you really look at it, what he's focusing on is an isolated thing done over and over at a very high rate of swing. And so the player's not really moving. They're really working on acceleration, hitting through the ball, and taking the ball at the top of the bounce. And doing it over and over again. And he's making some mistakes. Now, You might look at this and go, this is the exact drill I need, where maybe the ball is being rapid fired at me like a bunch of times. But really, if you go back and look closer, the fundamentals are still there, even though the rate of which he has to hit the ball and swing is higher. And most recreational players, when they ask for these type of drills, what happens is the beginner stuff or fundamental starts to fall apart. And when that starts to fall apart and you add and stack more difficulty on it, you don't become more advanced. You actually get worse because you're training these beginner things that are falling apart that actually you're compensating by doing other things that are going to hurt you in the future. So it's really important before you move on to adding more difficulty to advance your level is that you have to have those fundamental things down. So that's why we do spend a lot of time talking about the fundamental things, because if you don't have those down, which a ton of recreational players don't have down, then you can't do the advanced level stuff. Now, the next topic is fitness. And I don't think this is understood enough, because to do drills like this over and over again, where you are increasing the difficulty, you have to be able to stay out there longer. You have to be able to be on the court. And so I think we don't have the right mindset because we don't see what really goes on. When you go to a big tournament like the US Open, the Australian Open, or whatever, and you see the players on the practice court, you see them kind of like hitting around, they miss a couple balls here and there, and they're having fun. Maybe they play a couple competitive points, but you have to understand the phase of play they're in. They've already done all the hard work at home. You haven't seen that. This is just for kind of going out and kind of making sure that everything's running smoothly, because I've already done the hard work. And so I want you to listen to Dominic Thiem as he talks about during his off season, kind of his ramp up of how much fitness he's doing compared to hitting. And then you'll see a little bit of some of the stuff he's doing, which is really intense to make sure that he can play at an advanced level.
This year we got 3 weeks for preparation here in Tenerife. So usually the first week is a little bit more focus on fitness practice, and the tennis practice is a little bit less, maybe 2-3 hours a day only. And then the second week it's like 50% fitness, 50% tennis. And in week 3 the main focus is on the tennis, I would say the last 4 or 5 days.
So right there you hear him talking about how most of the beginning of when he has a stretch of time off is focused on fitness. And the reason why that's so important is because if you want to play at an advanced level or do these advanced level drills or get your game better, you have to be able to maintain, sustain when you're out playing a difficult match. And that's one of the big keys how players just kind of fall off. They're like, oh, I'm too tired, I can't keep this up. Or advanced level drill where some coach is feeding them rapid fire balls and they get tired and bad technique starts to creep in and they can't maintain that consistency. So after you've done this, then you can start really focusing on adding more difficulty to the fundamentals that you already have. This really reminds me of a quote Bruce Lee has that I really keep in the back of my mind, where he says, "I fear not the man who practices 10,000 kicks. I fear the man who practices one kick 10,000 times." And that reigns so true to what I'm really trying to preach to you right here, is that it's not about doing all these crazy drills. It's about finding a couple simple drills that you get really, really good at. So going back to the cross courts, you can start off where you could do a suicide, meaning that you do a bunch of sprints and then right there, run out, hit cross courts where you do a drill such as that you hit 10 cross courts in a row, then you stop, maybe you do some more fitness, then hit another 10 cross courts in a row, and you do that until you get to 5 total. That's a simple drill where I'm still hitting cross courts, but I've increased the difficulty level. Another drill you can do if you want to stack on and make it more advanced is do the exact same drill, but at any time if you miss one ball, you go all the way back to 0. Not just within that little frame, but the whole thing. You start all the way over before you get to the 5 full sets of hitting 10 in a row. Simple drill done at a very high level of proficiency. And that's the key. Taking very simple things and adding difficulty when the time is right, and making sure that you can execute, or that you're constantly increasing the level of execution and proficiency you have at that level of difficulty. I mean, when you do see those kids and you see the pros and you go, well, there's a huge difference. Really, the only difference between those kids and the pros is that as the pros receive more pressure from their opponents, they're able to respond. And when you look at other players that are lower ranked, they can't deal with it. Generally at the recreational level, the fundamentals aren't there. And at higher levels, the fundamentals they are there, but they can't deal with that amount of pressure. So if you want to really focus on doing advanced level drills, eat your heart out. That might help you, but I don't think it'll help you if you're not doing it the right way, where you're looking at the level of proficiency, how you can execute the simple drills at high levels or high rates, and then slowly add on difficulty. That doesn't mean you have to go crazy with an advanced level quote unquote drill. So I hope this video serves you. Another really great option is the Essential Tennis free membership. And the reason why this is so great is because you can get these type of drills that I'm talking about in the free membership, where you know what to do, how to do it, and then you slowly stack on the level of difficulty to improve your level of play.